When I was about 5 years old, something happened in the middle of the night that my mum and I still can't explain. It's one of those stories where by the time you realize what's going on, it's already way too late. At the time, my parents had just separated. My mum and I lived in a small town, 2-bedroom apartment on the first floor of a quiet complex. My room was across the hallway from hers, just a few steps apart. But whenever I stayed with her, I'd crawl into her bed because I never liked sleeping alone. That night it was hot, the middle of summer, and my mum had the window behind the bed cracked open to let in a breeze. The air smelt like grass and pavement. Everything felt normal. Until I woke up. I remember sitting up and noticing our cat. He was sitting perfectly still in the doorway of my mum's bedroom. Now that might sound harmless, but our cat never slept anywhere except the bed. So seeing him there, staring into the dark hallway, was weird enough to make me freeze. Then he stood up and quietly walked into my bedroom. When she finally looked up, I pointed toward the door, and standing right there, halfway in the doorway, was a man. He wasn't rushing or panicking. He was just walking out of my bedroom, like he had just been in there doing something. I didn't even have time to scream. My mum just moved. In one motion, she grabbed me and threw me out the window behind the bed. It was only a 3-foot drop onto grass, but I hit the ground hard and turned back just in time to see her climb out after me. We both ran screaming for help. When the police showed up, they didn't find any signs of forced entry. But our front door was unlocked. My mum swore she had locked it. Deadbolt, chain, everything. A week later, she was cleaning the kitchen. She opened the water heater closet and found a notebook. Inside were names, drawings, and next to it a pair of gloves. Some stories end when the bad guy leaves or gets caught. Ours didn't, because for all we know, he had been there the entire time.
When I was 12 years old, I learned that sometimes the scariest stories aren't about strangers breaking in. They're about people you think you can trust until it's too late. When I was 10, I moved in with my dad. It was a new town, and I didn't know a single person except one family that my dad was close with. It was a single mum with 3 kids. Her oldest daughter was a couple of years older than me. We weren't best friends or anything, but we hung around the same people. One night, one of our mutual friends, Rob, was hanging out at their house. Their mum was working late, so it was just the 2 kids and Rob. Now their mum worked in home care. She helped people who needed daily assistance. And there was one woman she'd been helping for months. Through that job, she got to know the woman's family, including her sister. That night, there was a knock at the door. And it sounded exactly like her mum's knock. 3 short taps, then 1 long one. She did it every time before coming inside. So when she heard it, the girl smiled, walked over, and unlocked the door. But that wasn't her mum. It was the sister, the one who'd just been released. And somehow, she had learned where the family lived, and exactly when the mum wouldn't be home. Her younger brother managed to escape to a neighbour's house, where he called the police. But by the time they got there, it was too late. The lady brutally murdered my friend a week from Christmas, decapitated her and left her body naked in a bathtub, disturbingly hit her head. They had to look through the presents, and I didn't know where they found it, but they did. I wasn't allowed to go to her funeral.
In the late 80s, a 6-year-old boy and his teenage sister were home alone on a cold Texas night, watching a crime show about a killer breaking into a neighbor's house. And then it started happening to them. I grew up in a small Texas town, one of those places where everyone knows everyone and nothing ever really happens. I was about 6 or 7, my sister was a teenager, maybe 15. That night, it was just us two. Our living room had this huge wall of glass windows and a sliding door that led to the backyard. At night, when the lights were off, all you could see out there was pitch black. Someone was pounding on the front door like they were trying to break it down. We both screamed and froze. Then nothing. Dead silence. My sister crawled to the TV and switched it off. Now the room was dead quiet, dimly lit by the kitchen light behind us. We sat there making eye contact and breathing quietly. The back doorknob started turning, slowly. It rattled once, twice, like someone was testing it gently. And then again. The door shook violently. The glass windows shuttered. My sister lost it. She screamed louder than I have ever heard and grabbed me by the arm. We ran to her bedroom, slammed the door shut, and pushed the mattress against it. We stayed there, silent, until we saw headlights outside. Her friend and her parents had pulled into the driveway. When they checked the house, there was no one there. No footprints, no broken locks, just a few faint scuff marks on the back door. Maybe new, maybe not. Whoever or whatever that was knocking at our door was never caught and never explained.